Hello soulmate, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to cut and sew the smoky dress that I'm putting on here. It has a gathered flare at the lower side. I made this of 5 years of African print for this, and I'll be drafting on the paper first because I'll be using a slash and spread method. So I've marked out my waistline, which is 18 inches, and then I added 1 inch to make it 19, as you can see. So here I'm marking my bust point, which is 11. So my waistline, like I said before, is 18, but I marked 19. I added 1 extra inch. Okay, so I'm going to rule this line straight, which is the bust line, and next I'm going to be taking my shoulder divided by 2. Okay, my shoulder is 15. 15 divided by 2 will give me 7.5. You can minus ½ inch from your shoulder, just mark 7 instead of the 7.5, but I marked 7.5, which I'm going to remove ½ inch later from the shoulder measurement. So for the neck width, I made use of 4 inches for my neck width, and then the neck depth I made use of 3 inches for the front and 1.5 for the back. So I marked 1 inch first of all, and then I went back to mark half. That's 1.5 for the back neckline, and I'm going to connect with my curve ruler. So next I'm going to slash my shoulder by 1 inch, and I'll connect the neck line like this. And from the bust line, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. So this ruler is already 2 inches. I'll just place it like this, and then I'll mark it out. That's my 2 inches from the bust line, or you can divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5 and mark. Okay, so this gives me a perfect result. That's why I always make use of this. So here I'm going to mark the same thing I marked on my shoulder line, which is 7.5, like this, and I'll connect that to my shoulder slope like this. Next, I'm going to take my bust divided by 4, which is 40. My bust is 40 divided by 4 is 4 and 10. Okay, so that is what I'll be marking here. I'll be marking 10 inches here, and then on the waistline I'll be marking my waist divided by 4. Like I said, I took 19 inches for my waistline. Is 18, but I added 1 inch. Okay, so I took 19 inches for my waistline, and you're gonna see the reason why I did that later. So on the waistline I'll be marking my waist divided by 4. Okay, and I'll just connect these points together. Okay, and then next I'm going to be marking my armhole, but before that I'm going to take out the ½ inch I talked about. Okay, and I'm going to go up here by 1 inch also, because it's a sleeveless, so I would not want my armhole to be revealing. Okay, so you take out 1 inch from your armhole measurement. Like if you divide your armhole by 4, you by 6, and then you add 1.5 to it. So instead of adding 1.5, you just add ½ inch. I don't know if this is clear. This is because it's a sleeveless and you would not want your armpit to be showing. Okay, so instead of marking your exact armhole measurement, you just take out 1 inch from that, so that your armhole will close properly. Okay, if you divide your armhole by 6, instead of adding 1.5, you add ½ inch. I don't know if this is clear. If there is any confusion, please ask me on the comment below. So as you can see, what I have now is 7 inches, so I'll divide that by 2. And before I do that, I want to take out ½ inch from my armhole. Okay, I want to take out ½ inch, sorry, from my shoulder measurement, not my armhole. I want to take out 1/2 inch, and you can also decide to use exactly like this. Okay, you can decide to use your actual shoulder measurement, but I want to take out 1/2 inch from my. So that is what I'm trying to explain here, and I'll just take out the 1/2 inch that I marked. I'll just connect that straight like this. So like I said, you can decide to leave this. As you can see from the beginning of the video, I showed how it looks on my body, so you can decide to leave your own shoulder line like that. So I'm going to divide what I have here into two, and I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch, 0.5 here, and I'll connect my armhole like this, and I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect it to the bust measurement like this. And we are done with our pattern. I'm going to cut this out, and we're going to slash and spread this. Okay, so I'm going to slash and spread this. So what I'm going to do is to divide this into 4 places. Okay, I'll divide this pattern into 4 or 5 places. So just take note of that neckline, which is 1.5. That is what I just did. I just measured it, which is 1.5. Remember, I used 3 inches for the front and 1.5 for the back. So what is left there is 1.5 for the front neckline. So I'll just share this pattern into 4 or 5 places. You can just mark it, or you just eyeball it like I'm doing. I did not really take any measurement. I just eyeball it. Okay, so you can just measure it and divide it into 4, but I didn't do that. I just eyeball the measurement. Okay, all I know is that I divided it into 4. All right, so I'm going to cut this completely out. Okay, I'll cut it out completely, and here is my fabric. What I have here is 2 yards of African print folded into 2. That is 1 yard. Like this fold is 2 yards, so when you fold it like this, is now 1 yard. And I'm going to fold it again into 4 because I'm cutting the front and back together. So what we have here now is 1/2 yard unfold like this. Okay, I said I used 2 yards. I folded 2 yards into 4, which is what you're seeing here right now. And the measurement depends on you though. If you want it wider, maybe depends on your size. If you want it big or so, or more fuller, it depends on you. So I'm just going to cut this completely out, and then we're going to spread it on the African print fabric. Okay, so right now I'm going to spread it like so, leaving 2 inches. So what I did first of all here was to measure 21 inches from the tip of the fabric down. I took 21 inches so that I can have a straight line like this, so that my pattern can be placed using that line. Okay, that line will serve as a guide for your pattern. Okay, so here is 21 inches, so I just place my patterns there, make sure they are equal there. So here in between I used 2 inches gap. Okay, so when you're placing it, you make sure that all your lines align with each other. So I used 2 inches gap here. Okay, and my length remains the same from the pattern, remains the 19 inches. Okay, remains the 19 inches. So the 21 inches I marked was just a guide. So this is the length of this African print. What we have is 43 inches from the tip of the pattern I measured. So all I have is 43 inches, and the full length of my gown is 62 inches. So I'll be adding extra 19, right, to complete it. So that is going to be for the gathers. I'm using the whole African print that I have here. So if you want your own gathers to come up a little, that means you need to minus some from this African print. But I wanted my own gathers to start from the lower part, so that is why I use the whole African print for this. Okay, so like I said, the whole of this African print is 43 and my full length is 62. Okay, so I'll be adding extra 19 inches to it to complete my full length. So you can leave this side if you want, or you can trim it out. So I'm just trimming out a little bit out of it. So that's that, and I'm going to separate my patterns, take it out. I use pin to hold it together so that it will not move when I'm cutting. Okay, so I'm going to notch this point, this line here, which serves as the waistline. Okay, I just notched that so that you know that that is your waistline. Like I said, it still remains the same 19 inches. Remains the same 19 inches. So I'm going to take out all the pins and the pattern, and then I'm going to bring out one pieces of the African print. Remember I said we folded into 4. So if you want just to start from the upper part, you can just minus and then reduce this, cut this out, and then add your joining. So I want it like this. So I'm going to mark this part also so that I'll know that this is the waistline here, and I'll connect it to the notch part like so. Okay, so I'm going to bring that out, and I'm going to measure out my neckline. Remember on the pattern I said you measure it. What I have is 1.5 inches for the front neckline. I said I'm using 3 inches for the front neckline and 1.5 for the back. So what we cut out was 1.5, so it's remaining 1.5, which I measured earlier. That is what I'm going to trim out here now, 1.5 for my front neckline. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to mark where I will be sewing. Okay, the lines that you will smoke. So this is me marking my waistline on this one also. So I'll just take the length from the tip to be sure. Okay, and remember I notched this, so I'm following that notched part as the guideline. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this other side. I'm using the notch part as the guideline for this waistline. So now I'm going to mark where I'm going to be sewing. You can decide to use 1/2 inch, you can decide to use 1 inch gap from each other. Okay, you can decide to use 1/2 inch, you can decide to use 1 inch. So marking this line is going to help you and make the work easier for you. But if you don't want to, if you feel we can eyeball it, you can just go and run your stitch on it and smoke the other upper part. But I will advise you mark the line. It's going to help you and make your work uniform and beautiful. Okay, because sometimes when you eyeball, some are going to be big while some is going to be tiny. So this is what I have, and for this upper part I'm going to also show you how I'm going to do it. Just mark where you're going to sew using the same measurement. Not to worry about that, it's not going to affect anything. Okay, so that is what I am doing here now, just marking on the right side of your fabric. Remember, you are going to be doing this on the right side of your fabric. So some people, you can decide to do it circle like this, the neckline, but it's not going to give you what you really want. So just marking it straight is the best. Okay, so that is what I did here. So next I'm going to do is to fold this neckline. Okay, fold your neckline and the armhole before you start smoking your dress. Okay, So you're just going to turn it to the wrong side like this and fold it like twice, just tiny folds twice. Okay, and then you sew around the neckline. You do the same thing to the armhole also. Sew your armhole. So here is the down part, what I'm going to use for the gathers. So it's times 2 of the upper part. Like I said, is 43 for the upper part, and I'm using 62 for my full length. So here is where my 60 ends here. So the remaining one is just the 62. This 62 includes my folding allowance also. Okay, it includes my folding allowance. And what I did was I cut two yards for each, because you need to gather it. I did times 2 of each of the panel. Okay, so here is my smoke dress. Before I start cutting, I put this inside water. Not smoke dress, sorry, my smoke thread, my smoky thread. So I had to put it inside water. It smokes better when you do this. Put it inside water when you want to cut your dress. And this is how you're just going to reel it on your reeler. Just don't stretch it, don't drag it, don't drag it. Okay, don't drag it, just put it. I'm just trying to show you not to drag. Just reel it a little, small, just free it. Okay, do not drag it. When you drag it, it's not going to smoke better well. So here I'm going to just put it just like you put your normal thread, and that's all. Take this to your sewing machine and sew. So let's sew together. So this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the shoulder part. So here, first of all, like I said, you need to turn the neckline. You need to fold the neckline and the armhole, okay, before you do this. So remember to always back stitch. Remember to always back stitch, and then you turn and start sewing. Just watch what I am doing and you will understand. Okay, so be pulling it, be dragging it when you are sewing. Remember to always back stitch, guys. Okay, remember to always back stitch, especially on the armhole and the neckline side. But on the side, you can just run it straight, because you still shape the dress and it will not lose. But the armhole and the other side, remember to always back stitch, because you're not going to shape anything again there, so it will lose if you did not back stitch before you turn. So always stretch or drag your material like so, just like I'm dragging. Always drag it like that. Pull it, be pulling it so that it will be smoking very well. Just be pulling it. Okay, you turn and start sewing again, and make sure you are dragging it from this other side. Be pulling it, opening it up, and be sewing. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be doing the rest of camera, and I will show us the final result. So here I've gotten at the middle part of the dress. I mean from the waistline, from the shoulder to the waistline. So I'm going to continue like this. I'm just trying to show you guys how you are going to be smoking it well. If you did not pull it like this, you will not be able to stretch the clothes. You cannot wear it. Even a baby will not be able to wear it. So make sure you are stretching it open like so. So here I'm done doing that, as you can see, and I stopped 1 inch before that notched part. I stopped 1 inch before the waistline, which is where I notched, and that is because I'll be fixing pockets to this. So as you can see, it smokes perfectly well. So next we are going to do is to join the down part to it. So I've also gathered it. I've also gone ahead to gather. So I said you measure here and cut times 2 of it for your down gathers. So this is it. I've gathered one of it, just like I showed you earlier, and I'm going to place them right side facing each other like this, and I'm going to sew it together. I'll do the same to the other part also. So I'll just sew it and I'll be back. So here, guys, I've joined it to the upper part, the gathers. So you just go and serge it with a weaving machine, just weave it down, and now I'm going to join shoulder to shoulder, right side facing the right side of each other. I'm going to join it at the shoulder and join this one also at the shoulder, and I'm going to shape the down part from here. Just make sure everything matches each other. You shape it down to the hemline, okay? But before then, I forgot to do something. I forgot to fix my pocket, and I'm going to show you guys how I cut it, okay? So here I have 4 pieces of fabric here, 4 pieces of material. I just folded into two and fold again in half, that's into 4. So for the pocket, it depends on you, but the width of the pocket is usually 7 inches. So this is more than 7 inches. This is 10. I'm going to mark 1.5 here and 1.5 here, and then I'll measure what I have in between, and then that's 3 inches. I took out of the 10, that's 7. So I just curve. So make sure all you have is 7. So for the width, the length of the pocket is really not important, not necessarily. So just cut how big or wide you want your pocket, but just make sure that this down part is 7 inches, where I measured 10 and I took out 1.5 1.5 on both sides, that's 7. So make sure this part I'm cutting is 7 inches, because that is the part that will be on your dress, okay? That's normal pocket measurement. So here is how I'm going to fix that. So I've sewn it, so I had to open it up because I actually forgot to fix my pocket. So this is the notch part I was talking about on the waistline. I said you stop 1 inch before that notch. So I'm going to place my pocket right side facing the right side of this dress like this, and I'm going to sew it close like so, and I'll flip it over and top stitch on the pockets, okay? I'll do this to all the 4 pockets, and here I'm done doing that, and I've also shaped. So here is how I shaped it from the waist armhole, come down to the pocket, and you enter the down part also, sew all the way to the hem, and you fold the hem of your dress. And that is all for this dress, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be seeing you on my next tutorial. So sorry guys for not being consistent. It's because I very busy, but I'm going to try and make out time to make it up to you guys. I'll see you in my next tutorial. I love you guys. Bye.